All right. I hope that you guys are coming back. There's no one in here yet. There's one person in here. I did it. I know. I'm so excited. Hold on. I got to put it in the. Oh. Oh. I'll put it in the tripod. Okay. Yay! I did it. But now, so excited. You guys. Okay, thank God. I was like, my computer wasn't showing me the comments. I have to look at the comments on the computer because I can barely see it there. This felt like a scavenger hunt to a line. I hope it was fun. Okay, here we are. Okay, you guys, thank you. Wait, there's more. Thank you guys so much for coming. So I made this live about, should I zoom this in more? Or is it okay? About, by the way, special beverage. Strawberry peach LaCroix. If you've never had it, I highly recommend. Okay, so I made this live because obviously that touch video, that was like, it's like my second highest performing video. And I made it because obviously I'm a massage. I missed you guys. I missed you too. Thank you, Raj. Because obviously I'm a massage therapist and I just notice touching a lot of people's bodies. Like you come into contact with a lot of people who you can tell are, usually I have the lens on this side. That's why I keep looking over here, but now it's on the, I'd have my phone flipped anyways. And you run into a lot of people. You can tell when you're working on people, if people are comfortable or not. And I work on so many people that I can tell are like really uncomfortable being touched. And they probably don't get touched a lot. And it's so hard to try. I mean, that's like not even something that I would attempt to unravel or navigate with a client unless they started talking to me about it, like a massage client. But then I just noticed it. I just noticed it in our culture. And I can tell, I think if you're just a sensitive person too, like you just can tell, you feel the discomfort and the distance between people. And I just know that it's affecting people. And the comments, yeah, you feel it. You do feel it. You don't like your feet being touched. A lot of people are like that. I try not to get touched and tell. What do you mean? And I think that it was like alarming. See, the thing is, I made the video because I knew it was this thing that no one's talking about, but a lot of people are aware of and a lot of people feel. So it's like I knew it was a problem, right? It was like I knew that it was a thing that a lot of people were experiencing. But it's one thing to know that, to kind of just believe that and know it because you feel it. And then it's another thing to talk about it and then have like thousands of people responding that they are in these really deeply lonely, living these lonely lives and feel so isolated and are in deeply unfulfilling relationships where they're not being touched. And it just turned into something. And I didn't know, I still don't know how to, I don't know what the answer is. Like, I don't know how to respond to people, but there were so many things that I was seeing in the comments and that I do kind of want to address. Just there were people who doubt that this is a real thing. They like doubt that you need physical touch. And this is something like even I can think about it. And because there's like the kind of, very like stoic perspective that like, it's like solitude is like the highest state, and you should not need anyone, and you should be able to be on your own and be totally fulfilled and fine with yourself. And you like learn about the existentialists that just went and sorry if I hit this, spent time in nature, and in solitude, and had like contact with the sublime, and didn't feel like there was anything lacking, and didn't feel. But then there's this other part of me, this very human part, that's like, no, though. No, we evolved, like we physically, biologically need the mother or a caregiver's nervous system to our nervous system doesn't know how to regulate. Like it doesn't know how to find a baseline. It needs something to co-regulate to. It needs something to like match, to like bring it into resonance. It's like when you're like totally chaotic and stressed, blah, 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 and let's say someone in your life feels like a safe presence, or you might have like a partner or a parent that calms you down. They hold you, they hug you, they hold your hand, and it literally makes, or your body needs to find, like it needs to find equilibrium. It's like either hyper or hypo stimulated, and that's how we regulate ourselves. But like, not to mention, I think that we all know that we feel. See, I don't know. Maybe we don't. Oh, this is where I'm like, I don't know. I know there are a lot of people that would say, I'm more comfortable not being around other people. I'm more comfortable. I don't like touching. I don't want to touch anyone. To that, I would say it's like, I don't want to discredit what they're saying. And I don't want to say like, you're lying. That's not true. You're wrong. You don't actually feel better that way. But I think something is going on there. I think, that doesn't just happen naturally. Something caused that. Like something created that. Something in utero, in infancy, in childhood, in relationships that you had. Something led to that desire, because it actually evolutionarily, it's not advantageous. It doesn't make sense for us to want to be alone and not want to be around other people or touched by other people, because you're dead if you do that. Evolutionarily, like in tribes, we're pack animals, especially men. Like we need to be together with others. That's how it's like strength in numbers. That's how you protect yourself. Like being just out on your own, when it's like when you get cast out of tribe. That's why so many of us struggle with just like rejection, or being like judged and criticized, because we fear rejection from the tribe. Because if we're cast out, then we're literally like, we're fucked. We're done. Like you're done when you're on your own. So I just don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I should read some comments quick. I'm in a situation like that. The closest thing I can to get what you're speaking of is bathing in very hot water is obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Sir Charles. Thank you. Hit the like button, you guys. I never say that, but thank you. Just booped it. Other than hugs from family, I get most of my touches from the chiropractor massages. Yeah. By the way, I just got a massage yesterday. It was fantastic. Do you guys want to know a secret? Okay, I'll tell you. One of my subscribers turns out to be a massage therapist in my city, and he gave me a massage. And actually, I've received a few massages from him at this point. Fantastic therapist, and it's just like, wow, what a gift. What a gift. And I've given him body work as well. So anyway, that's pretty cool. And yeah, so I would say to you, one United Wolf Pack, you're in a situation like that. The other thing that I realized from this video and reading comments was, honestly, that I have more of a need, more of an unmet need for this than I even realized. Because I started, like, there were people who said that they like hug pillows, or they, curl up with blankets, or someone commented yesterday actually on the video, and he And he said, and I felt so sad to read this, because if for one thing, it's just a very vulnerable thing to share. And yeah, he's anonymous, so it's like, obviously, I don't know that he would have shared it if he was like making himself known publicly, but that he will like kiss his own hand and arm. It's gotten to that point that he's been so like isolated and deprived of touch, and that even he remembers from a young age, like he's always been someone who needed a lot of closeness and physical touch to feel comfortable, to like just to calm down, to feel stable. You guys, I'm so sorry about the burping. It's just I drink a lot of carbonated water, so I'm sorry. It's a thing. Um and yeah, so and then he will even like cradle and kiss a pillow. So like this to me, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. In the culture that we are in, that is like such a normal response to the degree of isolation that we all are experiencing. Like that's normal. He's doing actually he's like doing one of the healthiest things that you could do to try to get that need met. Think about the all the different things that people do to cope, all the unhealthy things that people do to cope, when there are needs that aren't being met. Because any of us who have experienced addiction, those are all like unsuccessful like bids for connection. Like we it's from being lonely. It's from feeling alone. And whether or not you really are like, oh yeah, I'm lonely, I'm not around people. It's like an existential like loneliness. It's like you can be in rooms full of people and you feel alone. You're lonely. And so you use something. And maybe it's not always just that. It could be that you're like what could it be? I mean, just feeling like you don't have any meaning or purpose in your life, like you're lost, feeling stressed. Yeah, usually, but just like living a life that's not authentic to you. That's obviously grounds for an addiction. But I just think of all the different things that he could have ended up doing, and instead he's kissing himself, he's holding a pillow, he's kissing a pillow. It's like, God, it could be so much worse. I mean, seriously. And then I started thinking like, I had a session with a woman actually. I gotta read these comments, you guys. Um or maybe I don't. Maybe you guys are just chatting with each other. Many men stop touching females because of the Me Too movement. Yeah. So this is something I wanted to kind of talk about because um a lot of guys, there were a lot of people, probably thousands, hundreds at least, in the comments saying, "Yeah, well, we have women to thank for that." These are all, to me, I would love to have some conversations, like one-on-one conversations with these guys who are saying this, because um I just think I believe it's a lot of like bitter men who haven't gotten the kind of maybe attention that they want from women, and they hate women, and they're mad at women, and they blame feminism, and they blame the Me Too movement. I'm not saying that didn't impact things. I'm not saying that didn't make it more difficult, but I think that this is like a deeper societal problem that starts, this is my belief, and I'm going to share, you guys, I do have some information to share, um, from a few different people, but my belief is like that it starts with the destruction of the family, the destruction of the nuclear family, and a lack of male I'm talking specifically about the like Me Too movement and feminism and like all this kind of stuff. And then why men are in a position where they don't know how to interact with women, that they literally don't know how to do it in a safe way. Um that just in a safe way that makes women feel comfortable. They're so uncomfortable because they didn't have a male role model. They didn't have a healthy male role model to teach them how to be strong, confident, disciplined, caring, protective, kind, like men. And so there's a guy, and then I feel like a douche talking about this because I'm like, nobody wants to listen to a woman talk about this because it's just like, you're a woman. Like, what the fuck do you know? So all my information comes from a guy. Hello. If you guys have heard of Scott Galloway, have you heard of him, by the way? Approach with respect. Yeah, Michael. Approach with respect and don't buy into the static with media disputes regarding. That's what I'm saying. Within that starts the loss of thought. Yeah, exactly. The father is the center of the harmony. So, you guys, I have listened to a lot of interviews with Scott Galloway. If you haven't heard of him, I really like the guy, to be honest. There are a lot of things actually that I don't like. Actually, that are not that I don't like, but that I don't agree with him on. Because we have totally different like political beliefs and stuff, but that's fine. I mean, I don't give a shit about politics, but I definitely don't agree with his. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna read some things. The reason why I'm talking about this, and it seems like it's not about like touch. We're talking about touch, but so much of the feedback that I got on the video was from men that, like, for one thing, they equate touch with like sexual touch. I'm like, I'm talking about we don't touch each other. We're not close enough. We don't live in communities anymore where we know our neighbors and we are comfortable enough with each other to interact like physically, because we live in such a like individualistic culture where in society, the way that it's just structured, the way that cities are structured, like everyone is so isolated from one another. Nobody like talks to their neighbors anymore. No one has community and connection like that. So it's natural to, because that again, that's like a survival thing. It wouldn't make sense to be super vulnerable and touchy feely and with people that you don't know, because like safe touch requires trust. In order to trust someone, you have to build a relationship. If you don't have relationships with community and with people that you know, you're not going to trust people enough to touch them. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about touch, is like just feeling close enough to touch. And even our friends, like our friends and our family, there were so many people that just never got affection from their parents. Like their family wasn't touchy feely. And I know families like that. And to me, that's so sad. But what I noticed was like a lot of the comments, I don't even know, but I think like over 90% probably of my comments were from men on that video. And I do, because I think that most probably men were the ones clicking on the thumbnail, which apparently was the reason why a lot of people clicked on the video, which was like hilarious because I don't know, I didn't plan it that way. I literally just like took photos. They weren't supposed to be like suggestive or anything. I literally was just taking photos, and apparently, I don't know, I just made my thumbnails like I make them all, but whatever. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's living in their own local universe and doesn't want to let anyone in. So what happens, I love that, Rick. Your dad's 94 and he's a great role model, still takes care of him. Oh, I'm 91. That's so sweet. Yeah, a lot of people do make it about sex, I guess. I guess a lot of people do. Oh, I'll have to check these books out. Thank you, Michael. I feel like yeah, I'm gonna have to remember. I won't remember that, so maybe you can send me a message, or I'll go back to, maybe if the chat saves, I can go back to it. But so that's the thing, is when we live in our own little universes and we don't want to let other people in, that naturally leads to like uncomfortable behavior. When you're so like in your own world all the way, you start to forget how to even interact with people like a normal human being. Because so I think so many men are like pissed off and they okay, you guys, perfect example. There was a guy who commented on the video today that I saw and I responded to. And he said he was like 35 and he had never had a girlfriend and had never been on a date and had not had sex in over 10 years. So, and he was like, people in my office don't even believe me when I tell them my situation. And I said, my response was, why haven't you been on a date? Because this is the thing. And I'm sorry, like, I don't know if I'm the best at communicating this. Cause like, I just probably end up sounding like a bitch. But like to guys, it's like, dude, like what? So many of the guys, like, you guys, they've kind of gone soft. Like you're like sitting home, it's like, haven't had a girlfriend and I haven't even ever been on a date. Have you ever asked a girl on a date? Like, like why haven't you been on a date? So I just asked, simply, I asked. And then he said, basically proved the point, which was he said, that he's not confident enough and he probably gets into his head too much and then sabotages himself and doesn't even ever ask because he's too afraid. And then he said something about his low self-esteem. And it's like, yeah. So, so many of these people in the comments, it's like you see them all complaining, I haven't been touched in this long. And whose fault is that? Like, I'm not trying to blame people, but like, if you're not making an effort to connect with people in your life, it's not going to happen. Because especially the way that we live, like, do you think someone's just going to come knock on your door and ask to be your girlfriend? I just don't get that. I don't get it. Like, are you putting in any effort? You know what I'm saying? Is that reasonable or is that unreasonable? Like, for real. I have a similar history and turned 37 yesterday. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know what your situation is, but it's like, do you approach people? Like, okay. I do want to read some of the stuff, the information that was shared by the Scott Galloway in the podcast that I listened to the other day. One of them that's really good, he was on The Diary of a CEO with another woman. It was like the first time they've had two people on together. She is like works at Hinge, the dating app thing. And it was him and her, and then Stephen Bartlett interviewing them. And they were talking about this like crisis that we're in, this modern dating crisis, but it was really a lot about like the crisis with young men, like, and that it was very interesting. Women like confident, productive, healthy. Yeah, exactly. Women like confident, productive, healthy men. Like that's what Scott Galloway says. It's like, sorry, dude, but it's just the way it is. Respectful flirting does the soul good and can open doors. Yeah. And by the way, listen to these guys, Aid and Michael, because I happen to know them because we've emailed and I know that they're older men and they're the ones who like get it. We've lost all of these like values, all this whole like archetype of what a man is and a woman. It's like totally gone. You would not hear fucking dudes in their 20s saying this. It's these guys saying women like confident, productive, healthy men. Respectful flirting does the soul good and can open doors. Nobody's doing that shit these days. I have been on dates, have had sex an extremely few number of times in my life. Every time my heart has been broken each time. I do not want to keep opening it to have it be broken again. Okay. I get that. And yeah, and that's a decision that you have to make. Is it worth it to you? Because you have to open yourself up to heartbreak if you want to open yourself up to love and connection. You just have to. Like you're not the only one. We all have experienced it. Like we have all been devastated by heartbreak. I would hazard that guess. I would also say, though, that your relationship with yourself, do you feel like it's strong? Are you confident? Do you have a healthy self-esteem? Do you believe that you're worthy? Like really. Because two things. One, if you don't have that, you will sabotage your relationship if you believe that you're not worthy and that everyone always leaves you and like you're not lovable. You're going to sabotage the relationship and the person will leave you, and then it's like what does Carl Jung say about that? You're something and you'll call it fate. I don't know, you guys, I can't remember the quote, but it's like people are constantly seeking confirmation of their subconscious beliefs about themselves and you will project those beliefs out into your reality. Then you'll identify them and then you'll say like, see, that's why this and this and this. We behave in ways that are going to fulfill and validate the beliefs we have about ourselves. So we'll unconsciously like just trigger someone or push someone away or press someone's buttons so much so that they explode and whatever. And we do it and we don't want to do it. We consciously don't want to do it. We want love and we want connection, but subconsciously we don't believe we're worthy and we believe that people always leave or that we're too much or whatever. So we do these things to get that reaction so that the person leaves. And it's like, yeah. So that is like one factor. And then the other thing though is that if you don't have the strong self-esteem and confidence, it's going to be even more painful. And you'll feel like, I don't ever want to do that again because like, I don't have the strength to hold myself through it. I don't have the strength to get myself through it. I don't know how to be there for myself. So I feel completely abandoned when someone else leaves me. Like I self-abandon. So it's like in both cases, it comes down to doing work on yourself, getting to know yourself, getting to know the beliefs that you really have, like your core beliefs about yourself and what you deserve. And like doing inner child work is huge too, because it's always like you're the inner child, like some version of you at different age or whatever that needs someone to see them and hold them and love them and validate them. And yeah. So I don't know if that's helpful. Men need to stop asking what do women want and start asking how can I be a better catch? Yeah. Exactly. This is what Scott talks about. I am going to read some stuff. This is why I love YouTube live streams over Twitch. I can join late and still watch from the beginning. Oh, you can? Thank you, MK. I didn't know you could watch from the beginning when you joined a YouTube live stream. I was scared to approach girls, but I just made myself approach girls and was surprised how successful I was like jumping off a cliff. Terrifying, but fun in the end. Exactly. This is what Scott Galloway says too. Like, he's like, dude, I've been rejected so many more times than anyone has said yes to a date with me or whatever. He also, you know what he used to do with his kids? He only had 2 sons. He would make them when they were young and they were like coming inside from being out playing, or I don't know. He said whenever they were coming home and trying to come inside the house, he would ask them if they had interacted with if they had talked to a stranger, and if they hadn't, like they had to go talk to a stranger because he wanted to teach them how to socialize and how to interact with other human beings. That's something that people, like in the world that we live in, that everything's online and digital, you can be so lazy and you don't have to learn how to interact with people. And so many of these guys, they want to sit at home and be keyboard warriors, like red pill, whatever you call it, this like incel community, and they're all like pissed off at women and bitter and resentful, and they're just like sitting here like this. Like, have you ever gone out and actually tried to talk to a woman, like for real? Do you even go and try to talk to other human beings? Do you have social skills? Do you have anything to offer that would be attractive to a woman at all? Really? Would you want to sleep with you? Would you want to date you? Would you want to touch you? Like, for real, you got to get real with yourself. And that's what Scott Galloway says. He's like, dude, would you want to fuck you? Like, would you want to date you? Like, what are you doing? And he tells guys to like take care of yourselves physically, like literally fucking work out, look good, be in shape, and develop skills. Develop some form of excellence, like get good at something, like be useful. You know what I mean? It's like there's more to say on it too, and I will, but anyways, just wanted to add that. I was in my 30s approaching college girls and getting dates. See? That's what's up. Living in a small town, the dating pool is very small. Yeah, I mean, I know that's a whole other thing. Am I frozen? No. Finding yourself as a man and confidence comes from having a good male role model. Yeah, 100%. An ordinary touch can open doors, but not every interaction needs to have an end goal. Just be present, kind. It fills you in the. Yeah, and that's okay. That's a great point, Michael. That not every interaction needs to have an end goal. This is where so many guys go wrong. You guys, and I'm sorry that this is turning into like, I don't even, is this even about touch that we're talking about now? We're just talking about men. But it's not every interaction has to have an end goal. And I will tell you, women can pick up on your intention and the energy that is behind your interaction. So don't have like just try as much as you can. Like Michael said, it's like just be present. Be present. Like no expectations. Don't be thinking about or trying to create some outcome or make something happen or whatever, because that is just like oozes desperation and it makes everybody uncomfortable. Like you're not comfortable, the woman's not comfortable. If you're just like present and you're just in the moment and you act interested in her, you're asking questions, you're trying to get to know her. Like just imagine you were going and talking to a guy friend or anyone. Like you wouldn't be like premeditating, what you're going to say and whatever. It's like, dude, just, hey, like just presence. It's so much more comfortable and authentic and natural. And that is how you're going to appear attractive to a woman. When a woman wants a confident man, she will let him know. Most men naturally friendly, flirt, even if unaware. Yeah. I think women do too. I personally think you got to be cool and content being single before you, I believe. Damn, I know I do keep freezing. Is everyone's computer freezing or is it just me and Mel? Because my computer, I'm filming it on my phone, but I have my computer here where it's open and I can see that it keeps freezing on my computer. I don't know why. I have no idea. What the fuck? You guys, I don't know why. I hope it doesn't happen again. I literally don't know what to say. What can I do? I'm not sure. I'm like connected to Wi-Fi. I don't know why it's happening. Yeah, I dropped the quality, but still, I don't know. If you were older or I were younger, I'd date you. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to replay this later. Breaking up bad. Damn. Sorry, Melly Mel. Making hearty veggie soup for the wife currently. That's so sweet. Are you downloading something in the background? No. Is it still frozen? Because my computer's not freezing now anymore. What? Audio's dropping? You guys, let me know what? What do you mean dropping? I'm reading lips though. Is it better now? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it was doing that. Okay, good. Thank God. Thank God, because I am not a tech person and I would not know the first thing to do. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to read some stuff from Scott Galloway that you might find interesting. Like there are just some statistics too that are crazy. Okay, so he says if a man hasn't been married or cohabitated with a woman by the time he's 30, there's a 1 in 3 chance that he's going to have a substance abuse problem. If he hasn't been married or cohabitated with a woman by the time he's 30. And then he said that loneliness takes a greater toll on men than women. And this is like what I found from the video. He said that women tend to channel their energy, that energy, if they feel lonely, into other friendships and professional work. So they have like connection. And that men tend to channel it. I'm glad I made the cut before the yeah, same, dude. I guess I'm not a man, so whatever. And he says men tend to rechannel it into a lot of negative things, like just, porn, video games, drugs, whatever. He said in America, 51% of men age 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. You guys, and seriously, so for the older guys, you guys, sorry, but like Michael and Rick, can you believe this? In America, 51% of 18 to 24-year-old men have never asked a woman out on a date. I bet you guys can't even fathom that, because how would you ever, like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. You just like, you wouldn't have any kind of, like what Scott says something funny where he's like, you porn, he called it, like, or whatever, this stuff existed when I was in college. He's like, I don't know that I ever would have gone to class. Or he said, part of the reason that I was so driven to go to campus was the thought that I might run into a pretty girl. And he was like, you have to have enough discipline to allow yourself to get horny enough to go out and talk to women. Because if you sit around and like watch porn and jerk off all day, you lose just all of your life force. Like that's your will, your drive, like that's your power. That is like, so you have no motivation, no drive to do anything. You're like, all your dopamine circuits, everything is just fried. You're overstimulated to the max, completely desensitized and numb. And then you need more and more stimulation. You're not stimulated by actual real human beings because of the content that you're watching. You start to just, everything is transactional, and you objectify women. Women are just objects to use for your own gratification. Like that's how you start to view people. And he even said, like, and men start to view the world and interactions with women in terms of like frames and scenes, like the way that they're seeing it in porn. It's like, it's just it's so dangerous. It's really bad. So he said young men are sequestering themselves from society. Then he talks about, because he does also talk about like kind of the wealth disparities and how like men need to be economically viable. So he says, because of huge wealth disparities and the aggregation of wealth, a lot of young people are finding it harder to find a mate. And if they do find a mate, to have the economic viability to have a child, because they just can't afford to. So like people aren't getting married, they're not having kids, they're not getting together. His prescription for men is to get to know the word no as fast as possible. So start applying to jobs that you're not qualified for. Put yourself in the presence of strangers. Find people that you'd want to be friends with and try hanging out with them. Develop some game and a plan such that you're confident enough to go up to strangers and express romantic interest while making them feel safe. He was like, men, if they knew how to do that, how to go up to strangers, express interest while making women feel safe, they would not have any issues. They need to learn how to do that. Then he says 1 in 3 men under 30 Only 1 in 3 men under 30 is in a relationship, and there are 2 in 3 women under 30 in a relationship because women are dating older men because they want economic and emotional viability. And now that, especially now that women are so successful in the world and they're making more money, and like women I think women in their 30s make more than men in their 30s now on average. And Scott says like that's not a bad thing. This whole feminism, like it's not bad. It's great that women have these opportunities, but men, you have to be offered, like you got to bring something to the table. And so because women want economic and emotional viability, and if they are making more than their peers in their 30s, they're not going to get like economic viability or from a guy. So women tend to date horizontally and up, he says, and men date horizontally and down. So you can see how this creates a problem. Because if women are dating horizontally and up and men date horizontally and down in terms of like intellect and making money and all that stuff and like whatever social status, women are going to be start dating older, and then men are going to have to date younger women. They're good. I mean, I don't know that that's the solution, but like women their age are not available to them because they're not they're not an attractive option for women in their age group. Okay, so anyways, then he says like men don't have church anymore. They don't have masculine role models. So where do they get their code from? He says like men need a code to live by, and you don't get it if you don't have a male role model. Single moms are great. That's awesome. They're wonderful. They're strong. There's something that a man provides for young men, the presence of a father, even for young women. Like you need to have the presence of a male role model, like a male caregiver, someone influential in your life who's a good influence. Okay, and so, and I want to look at comments really quick just in case I'm missing anything. You mean like an addictive substance abuse problem? I'm not sure what that was in reference to, that question. My first marriage, I filed for divorce before our first anniversary. I deployed for 7 months and she was 4 months pregnant when I got home. Oh, wow. No, here's something guys need to understand. The man is the prize. Never chase girls. Be successful, productive, confident, and healthy. The man is the prize. I like that, Aid. I just don't understand that. You just don't understand what? Sorry, dang. What don't you understand? Sorry. They call it hypergamy. Yes, they do. I'm glad you talk about this. It is, your prana is gone. Yeah. Well, to be honest, look at the parents, the environment. Porn is destructive. I think the crisis young men going through is complicated. Yeah, it's a huge crisis. It's bad. It's bad news bears. Men are the prize only if they've done the work. Too much red pill is content. Yeah, it's true. That's the thing, is a lot of the red pill guys, like, they're not the prize. Like, these guys are weak sauce and they're like sitting around complaining and like I said, super bitter and resentful. And it's like, brah, like, please, are you anyone that anyone would want to be with, really? Okay, so then he says, obviously, provider. We all know, like, men like provider archetype. So he says, try learning a skill, become economically viable, show up, work hard, and learn to save money, he says. And then protector. He says, real men break up fights. They don't start them. He said they add surplus value. They create more revenue for the government than they consume. And then procreator. He says those are the three things, like men provide, provider, protector, and procreator. So with procreator, he says, simple question. Would you want to have sex with you? Would you want to be romantic with you? Are you in shape? Are you kind? Do you have your act together professionally? Do you listen? Do you listen? Women love to be listened to. I mean, everybody does, but and do you give notice to their life? Dude, I don't know what's going on. There's nothing going on my phone. Like, I'm not sure what the problem is. Do you think I should try disconnecting my Wi-Fi and just using my phone's like data or whatever? Oh, okay. Oh, Wi-Fi is better? Okay. All right. Well, then I guess I'm gonna leave it. All this requirements just to connect with someone. Where's the magic? It's not, is it? But see, that's the thing. Is that really a lot though? This is where I'm kind of like, dude, guys just have like the bar is like they've set it so low for themselves, or I don't know if that's the right phrasing for it. Maybe try without Wi-Fi and see what happens. Is it still happening? Okay, let me know if it happens again. That's so annoying. YouTube is lame. Except actually I love YouTube. Connect the Ethernet cable. What kind of tech wizard do you think I am? Connect the Ethernet cable. I don't even know where the Ethernet cable is. My goodness. Um, the magic comes from work. Yeah, exactly. Like this is what I'm saying is like sounds like a lot of work. Like that's why is that a lot of work? That's the problem. You guys, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, that wasn't a lot of work. That was just the way that men were. Like that was just like common sense. This is what I mean by the problem that that's funny, Raj. But this is what I mean by like men, and because they don't have strong male role models to teach them what it means to be like a strong man, it would just come naturally. If you were raised by a man that embodied those characteristics, it would just be natural and you wouldn't even think about it. Instead, people are not raised that way. And a lot of times, if they are raised by single moms, like moms are lovely and they're nurturing, whatever, but guys, they don't get like the characteristics. They just don't adopt the characteristics and they don't embody them like that make them a real man. They don't learn by an example. And so then when you get older, you're like, wait, what? I have to learn how to do this and how to be disciplined and how to blah 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 and how to protect and provide and be kind and like look out for other people. And um I don't know. It's like it's not actually that hard. Like it should just come naturally. But yeah, if you don't have an example for it, it's not going to come naturally. um 33-year-old man, most dates and sexual encounters are women who seem to only want me because they find me attractive. So the touch doesn't give that warm feeling. Yeah. What age are the women you're dating though? Because guys, they tend to like they want to date younger women, and then I'm just like, yo, if you're 33, stop dating women in their 20s. Like, what are you doing? Um, I'm so glad I didn't miss this. I'm so glad you didn't miss it either. Recently deleted all the dating apps, stopped watching porn, quit weed, and I'm seeing what you're talking about play out in real time. That is what is up, JR. I haven't even deleted the dating app. But I don't smoke weed and I've never watched porn in my life. Fun fact. Can you guys even believe that? Never in my life. I like have no desire for that shit. None whatsoever. But and the dating apps, I like hardly ever open the thing. And when I do, I immediately feel all the energy just drain out of my body and I almost pass out instantly because it's just it's so it's so discouraging and so draining. It's like blah. So good for you. See, you are gonna feel any guy that does these things that you are doing, stopping weed and stopping watching porn, dude. Your testosterone, by the way, is about to fucking skyrocket. And you are gonna feel like the strongest motherfucker. And you are gonna feel so focused and on purpose. Like, and you're gonna ironically, it's like you delete the dating apps, and all of a sudden you're gonna start attracting people because your energy is gonna totally transform. This happens to guys all the time when they experience this. Oh my God. Thank you, Tiff. Audio is perfect for me now. Yay, except for when I do that to the microphone. If the parent's sexuality, wait, the problem being raised by only one parent, either a woman or man, is energy. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Burp. If the parent's sexuality confuses the child too, that's even, yeah, but that definitely would make it worse. It took over 6 years before I decided to mix it up with women after my wife passed away. And I was shocked at the number of women who seemed psychologically destroyed by a period. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary out there. And I went on a date with a guy a few months ago, and he was recently out of a marriage. Found out he's separated. Divorce isn't finalized. So many guys get on the app immediately after they get separated. I'm like, calm down, you guys. Go spend some time with yourself. Like, stop. You don't need to be out there dating. You're not in any way ready to be in another relationship. Like, go somewhere. And anyways, and he was in a 25-year marriage, a 25-year Mormon marriage, had only been with his wife and I think one girl when he was a teenager. Anyways, so he was just like a kid in a candy shop, and he was wanting to, like, yeah, just he was wanting to date, and he was all excited about it. And that's why I was like, okay, we're clearly like not on the same page. And but he was a nice guy. And then we stayed like friends texting a little bit after that. And he was just like, it only took a few weeks for him to be totally like disenchanted by the whole dating thing. Cause at first he was just like, oh my God, this, like, how can you imagine you're married for 25 years, Mormon like marriage? And then when you get out, you're like, oh my God, like there's so much catching up to do. Like there's women everywhere, and you're on these apps and there's women everywhere. And then you realize like most of the people are so damaged and like they're not even dating material. Like you wouldn't even want to date them. And then you just go on a number of dates and you realize like, oh, this actually seems really appealing on the surface. And yeah, no, then it's just not. We do date younger women. Yeah, I know you do. And which kind of makes sense because women date usually tend to, because women mature earlier. And by the way, that is scientific. That's biological. Like that's not, I'm not just my opinion. Women mature like 18 months earlier than men. Which Scott Galloway says we need to start putting boys in school a year later, actually, so that they would be a year older in the same grade as women. So, but yeah, so that kind of makes sense that you date younger women because they're more mature technically, but like only 18 months. I don't think if you're a guy in your 30s, like don't be dating women in your 20s. I mean, you can if you want, but I personally, I don't know. It depends on what you want. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm just full of opinions. Anyways, a child needs both a male and father. Yes, and a female mother. I agree with you. Older women carry more baggage. Excuse me? Am I an older woman? No weed, no porn. I'm in the wrong place. See what I'm saying? It's not doing you any favors. I will just say that. Like literally, I can say that unequivocally. It's not doing you any favors. There's not a single good thing that's coming from those habits. Not a single one. I know it sucks to hear that. It's true. You people are no fun. I know. I'm sorry, but like you're probably one of the people. Rob, be honest. Are you one of the people that is complaining that women are the problem and that's the reason that nobody's getting touched is because of like feminism and women? I'm totally being like stereotyping you, but sorry. Sorry for being a bitch. But I'm just saying, like, it's usually these like guys that just want to whatever, do their fucking smoke weed and jerk off and then complain that women are the problem. It's just like, okay, play video games or whatever they do. Okay, maybe we only meant to hear certain parts. No, you're meant to hear it all. Brandon, yes, as a paraplegic, the whole touching thing is true. We need it. Babies will die if they're just fed. Yeah, you guys, you haven't been touched or hugged for 2 years. It's not fun. I know. It makes me sad. Why? Why? There's no one that you can hug in your life. By the way, have you seen that movie that I told you about? The Stephen Hawking documentary? Or like not documentary or whatever it is, biography, biographical film. I never needed porn. Not only did I have a wife that matched my sexuality, but I had an imagination. There you go. I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, I have a fabulous imagination. So I don't know. I think the missionary position is mandatory in the Church of Latter-day Saints. Yeah, probably. I prefer ladies around my age. I date 30s. Yeah, me too. I date even 40s and I don't know. Not really 50s. I have, but I don't know. I'm probably more like a 40s lady myself. Or like late 30, but not younger than me, probably. You are absolutely not an older woman. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Older women are also far wiser than younger women. My goodness. Yeah, they are. No, you are not older. Okay, that's good. I didn't know. I honestly, you never know these days. By the way, you guys, I was showing my ID the other day and it made me feel good. The guy was like, I didn't know how old he was. He was shocked that I was born in 1987. He was like, what? And then I was like, when were you born? And I think he said like, oh yeah, he was born in like 2002 or something. And I was like, holy shit. So I was like, thank you. What else? I quit weed a while ago. Good for you. It gave me tennis elbow. What gave you tennis elbow? A strong, fit woman can carry plenty of baggage. Yeah. Do men approach you grocery shopping or out anywhere? Oh, you guys, actually, that's funny that you should ask because I just got asked out on a date in person yesterday. By the way, that doesn't happen to me like ever, but it happened yesterday. I was sitting at my local coffee shop where I always go. And this guy, I was actually preparing for this live stream. And so I'm looking up stuff. And so on my screen, and he's sitting next to me with his computer, and I have my computer up, and there's words about like men, loneliness, sex, like stuff or whatever, men not being touched, shit. That's all like the articles I'm reading and stuff. So we're sitting there for like an hour, and he knows the barista, and I know the barista well because I'm there all the time. And so we're chatting like separately, sort of together, but not really. And then eventually I got up to throw away my Apple core. And when I came back to my seat, he was like, hey, can I be nosy and ask you something? And I was like, yeah. And I had a feeling he had like looked over at my screen and saw what was on the screen. And then he was like, what are you doing? Like, what's that research? What's going on? And then I told him that I had a YouTube channel, but I was like, and then he's like, what's your YouTube channel? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not telling you my YouTube channel. I don't do that. Hey, you guys, this is a secret. Only you guys know about this channel, by the way. So yeah, I was like, nah. And he started just chatting with me. He was very curious about whatever my opinions. Then he's asking me different questions. We're talking about young men and like economic viability. And he's like, what does that mean to you? How much money would a guy have to make? I'm like, I can't answer that question. Like I could give two fucks. It's like, I care more about, I need to observe the man in how they live their life. And like, how do they live their life? what kind of a man is this? And like, how does he spend his money? I don't care how much money he makes if he's like spends it on dumb bullshit. Like, I don't care about that. If he like values things on like he spends a lot of money on like fancy cars and like going out and drinks and like fancy whatever bullshit and like fancy clothes, and I'm like, we're not a match. So it has nothing to do with like how much money a person makes. So, and he was just like, and I kept like saying that, and he's like, okay, but to be fair, you're not like, that's not normal. Like, you're not like most women. Most women have a number. And I'm just like, all right. Yeah, I'm not. I know I'm not like most women at all. So probably can't give you, like, I don't know. I can't relate to that. I'm not sure. And what to say to you, sir. Anyways, we kept chatting a little bit, and then he was about to leave, and he's like, I'm about to leave. But, and here's a great example of just assertive. And he just said, he said, all right, well, he's like, I'm about to leave, but he's like, can I get your number? I want to get to know you more. Like, you guys, look at that. Look at that assertiveness. And I will tell you, what if he finds my channel and sees this? I'm not even, I don't think I'm interested in dating this person. To be honest, like, there's not for me like an initial attraction or anything, but I respect that so much that just like, can I get your number? I want to get to know you better. And I said, yeah. And then he texted me this morning, and this is random because I said, I must have like talked about, I just said something about hiking when we were talking, but like, I don't even know that I did. Anyways, he texted me this morning and said, hey, whatever, this is so-and-so from the coffee shop. He said, random question. Do you like rock climbing? And I thought he must have stalked me and found me online, like found my Instagram. I was like, why do you know that about me, stalker? And then a little like laughing thing. And it literally was a guess. He told me he used to play a lot of poker and he can read people well. And there were 4 things that told him that I was like into rock climbing. He said 2 of them were that I talked about hiking, and hiking is like the whatever sibling to rock climbing or something. And then another one, whoa, that I used to be a fruitarian. Oh, because he asked me, I was eating a lot of fruit there. I ate like 2 apples, 2 kiwis, and 2 apricots while I was sitting there. and then and we talked about that. Oh, because we're talking about alcohol because it's a bar and coffee shop. And I said that I didn't drink. And then he asked me when I stopped drinking. I told him 13 years ago. And then he stopped drinking 14 years ago, and which was random. And then he asked me why. And I said it had to do with when I went fruitarian. Anyways, so, and he said fruitarians and rock climbers, like, that's a thing. I was like, well, I've never met a rock climber that's a fruitarian, but okay. Random? No, he's a stalker. I know. I don't know. That's what he said. He said that fruitarians and rock climbers, that's like a thing. I was like, no, it's not. I never met a rock. All the fruitarians I know, which I know a lot, like hundreds, because I've been to gatherings with them. I've never met a rock climber fruitarian. And now I'm a rock climber and I don't know any fruitarians. So I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know, but that's what he said. I think we're all around the same age. I think we probably are too. What? You're 1 year older than me. Me? Are you talking about me? How old are you? Just practice engaging women of all ages with a smile and confident manner, and yeah, exactly. Everyone, there's nothing wrong with older women. I simply like women to be somewhat younger, to each their own. Yeah, you guys, it's okay. Let's not gang up on Lone Patriot anymore. I don't even know if that's happening. I love what you're doing. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Prepper Broadcasting Network. Thank you, thank you. Was actually streaming myself before I saw this. Oh, cool, Mark. Oh my God. I'm glad you're able to be here too. I started late because I didn't know what the flip I was doing. That was awesome. Wow, Baron. Fancy. Mirepoix. Okay. Most women have a number is a line he got from Andrew Tater's. Probably. Oh my God, that's funny. Material possessions don't add to a man's attractiveness. Here's what counts: being productive, confident, skill. Hell yeah. Yeah, like, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I just want to say yes again. Because I'm just thinking about a guy I dated very briefly over a year and a half ago. He's actually the guy who got me into rock climbing. And he was like, there were other reasons why it like wasn't gonna work out, but because I think he just didn't want to be in a relationship, honestly. He really like wanted his freedom and independence, and he was like kind of living a couple hours away and was just very like wouldn't check in. Like I could go a week without hearing from. It was just like very, it was all very like I want you when I want you for me. And there was, when we talked, he never asked me about what I had been up to because he probably just assumed my life isn't interesting, but he was always doing all these interesting things and going on pack rafting trips and like canyoneering and whatever. So he would always call me and then tell me about all the stuff he did. Literally would never ask me what I had been up to or whatever. So, okay, it wasn't going to work. But what I'm saying is because there were so many things that were so attractive about him. And he like was just renting a room from someone somewhere, staying with his sister for a while. And I know I can tell just because I can pick this stuff up from people, like when I can tell when they're insecure about certain things because I could just like feel it. And so I could tell, and by things that he had told me and like past relationships and other girlfriends, and he would talk about other girlfriends like cared a lot about material things. I could just tell that he had this hang up around like not having a lot of material like wealth and success and stuff, even though he had a good paying job. It's like a seasonal job. Um, but like makes really good money, plenty of money. Um, and but like just drove like an old pickup truck, was renting a room from someone somewhere. I know that he was self-conscious about that, but that did not bother me at all. Like, that did not affect, he was such a like, he was such a man. Like um he like knew how to fix anything. He just like took the lead. He was I don't even know how to describe it. I didn't have to like worry about anything. He planned things. Like he would just like dates. He decided like where we were going, but he considered like what I wanted, or he would ask me. It's not like I didn't have any input. I did, but then he would just like take care of things. And that he didn't push me for like physical intimacy or anything. We didn't even kiss until like the third date, I think. And we spent like the whole day together one day in Sedona. And he never like, he was just so respectful. And yeah, I don't know. And I just think that guys don't understand like what women are looking for all the time. Cause it's like, it actually doesn't take that much, to be honest. It's not like he was spending a bunch of money on me. We like literally went and hiked around in Sedona for the day. Then we spent no money, and then it poured rain. We got like stuck in a hailstorm. It was freezing cold. I had to hide under some rocks, like they're like red rock, like some arch. But it was like so fun. And it's like it doesn't need to be that big of a deal. It's about a vibe. Yeah, you do feel it. You got to be more careful. Some freaks out there. Maybe I do need to be more careful. I don't know. I talked to the barista Mariano, who's my friend, and I said, I was like, does that guy come in here a lot? Is he like regular? He's like, yeah, he is. Danny, like he knows him well. And I'm like, and I was like, dang, I kind of don't want to be regular because I don't want to see him again. Because he asked me on a date. And he was like, oh, he did. And then I was like, yeah. Then Mariano told me, he's like, dude, just be honest with him. Like, he's like, you can just say, that you're not looking to date anybody right now or whatever. Like, he's like, I get rejected. Like, it's fine. Like, it's just part of being a guy. Mariano's a really good dude too. So I was like, okay. Hey, Caitlin, do you have any advice? Why did I stop drinking? Wait, okay, sorry. Mav the Wolf, I'll tell you after. I'm trying to go in order here. Okay. You stopped drinking 19 months ago. Congratulations, Junkie Logic. How do you feel? Because it's amazing, isn't it? It's the best. That's a lot of high glycemic carbs. Have you heard of the sugar diet that everyone's like talking about now? It's really funny because now like fruitarianism it's so funny because like Mark Bell, who's like power lifter, like all these bro bodybuilder power lifter guys are all now on this like only sugar diet, and they're literally getting influenced by and finding Durian Rider Harley, who's a fruitarian, raw vegan, who I've met him in person like 12 years ago, 13 years ago. And now these bodybuilder guys are on an all sugar diet and they're dropping their protein super low too, even to you know, less than four, less than like a half a gram per pound of body weight or something. I don't know. Anyways, and they're like finding out that actually you don't need that much to maintain your muscle and like sugar is the fucking holy grail. So it's hilarious. It's fine. It's not a lot of high glycemic carbs. Dude, I was a fruitarian for 6 years. I only ate fruit for 6 years. Trust me, it's all good. Why do you stop drinking? Tiff, I'm going to tell you about that. Actually, I'm not going to tell you because I just recorded a video about it and it's going to become I'm not going to put it up on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a link that you can click on in my description of all my videos. That will be a link and you'll enter your email in to see my video about why I stopped drinking and the whole story of that. And like, yeah, that's that. Hey, Caitlin, do you have any advice if you have been friend zoned? Yeah, well, it like depends. You probably need more context than that. But like my advice is to just accept it. Like if a girl is interested in you romantically, she will tell you and show it. She's not playing a game. Like, I mean, maybe women do play games and like, but if she's friend zoning you, she doesn't want to date you. And that's okay. Like, but I think that's like part of the thing that men they want to like avoid that rejection and whatever, and they maybe don't want to like accept it. I don't know that I have advice because I don't think that you should push it. I don't think that you should. I know that if I have given that energy to a guy, like it's not a game. This isn't a like, oh, try a different way to get me to go on a date with you. It's like, I don't want to go on a date with you. And I would say that you need to give her less attention. Because you're probably like prioritizing this person and like going out of your way and spending all this time with her and being way too much of a friend, but you have an ulterior motive. You're trying because you actually want to be in a relationship with her, which so many guys do this. And I get it, but not when she's friend zoning you. You need to stop being so available because she will use you. Like she will use you as a friend and get whatever she can out of you and take advantage of your availability. And if you still think that your guys are going to like hook up sometime or whatever, then you're going to make yourself available because you don't want to like close off the opportunity. Don't do that. Do not do that. You need to actually create a boundary and say like, stop being so available for her. And ironically, she might actually start becoming attracted to you then, and more attracted to you the less available you are. So you guys, all the men out there, is that good advice? Because I feel like it's pretty good. I can see the rock climber vibes. It was probably an educated. Yeah. Maybe. The other thing, I thought maybe he saw my fingertips. Like because I talk with my hands a lot and my fingertips are all like, you guys can't see, but it's like, can you see the skin? Like on my pinky there? Whatever. It's like all ripped up from rocks, So anyways, I'm forward and tried to reach out to you, but you ignored me. What? Are you talking to me? I don't think I ignored you. I actually think I remember your messages. I think I responded. I think that for me, someone reaching out to me online on my videos is like, it's not really, that's not really reaching out because like it's an anonymous avatar. It's just like initials. It's just like a name. Like I have, you can say I'm interested in someone because it's a very like one way thing, it's a one-sided. It's like, you know me and you've seen me and you've witnessed me. And so then you might think like there's an attraction or there or whatever that you want to get to know me, but I know nothing about, so it's like, why would I know nothing about you? So why would I be interested? Like literally there's got to be some, right? Like I have to have some reason to be interested. I don't like go and look at comments and say, oh, the letters FO and the person's like handle is some weird frame and like, oh, I'm attracted. I mean, like there's literally nothing for me to base any like level of attraction on. Do you know what I mean? Or interest. So that's probably why if I seemed like I ignored you, but I know I responded to your comments because I remember. I ceased drinking all alcohol 2.5 years ago. Best thing I ever did along with adopting a proper human diet. Yes. Same, Aid. And I know that we have different ideas of what a proper human diet is, but I love you anyways. Just kidding. I mean, I do. I totally respect everything about your diet. And I do think, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's not the way I eat. But I also, I agree. I'm eating my proper human diet and quitting alcohol. And those are like for sure the best things. He's definitely stalking you. Yeah, he might have somehow found me online. I don't actually know. You said 1987, right? Yeah. You were born in 88. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm 87. 87, baby. I thought you said you were 33. Maybe not. Guys research into women they're interested in. Do they? Fine. Yeah. Aid said to Mav the Wolf, find an alternate. 100%. I'm poor and unhappy. My main asset is knowledge of no inherent value and main currency wisdom, which defies being given. I don't know what that means, which defies being given. You're poor. Oh, you're poor and happy. Did I say unhappy? You're poor and happy. Yeah. See, your main asset is knowledge. I would argue that the knowledge you have is not of no inherent value. But main currency wisdom, yeah, you're winning. You're winning. Plus, you have like, yeah, because you have love and happiness. Is that Al Green? You guys, I'm gonna have to get another water. That's a good start. At 60, am I the oldest one here? Rick, I don't know. I love Sedona. Yeah, Sedona's amazing. Used to work in Sedona? No way. Besides coffee shop, where's the best place to approach single women? Even when this woman last week looked at me and smiled, I wish I would have talked to her. Yeah, you just got to do it. You literally have to do it and just tell yourself, like, I'm never going to see this person again. Like, you just, like Scott Galloway says, get to know. Just get to the know. As fast as possible. He's like, it's going to take 1,000 no's to get to a yes. So, like, you just got to get through it. It's actually similar to the strategy for YouTube. My coach was like, we have to get good. So in order to get good, we have to just get going. So just start making videos. They're going to suck ass. You just have to get them out of the way. You need to get a bunch out. You need to just do it. So I just started filming, like, even if they suck, I'm just like putting them out there because I know that like I'm never going to get good unless I get going. It's the same thing with like dating and asking people out. You're never going to get good unless you actually fucking do it. I think a coffee shop is a great place, probably because that's where I hang out. I don't know, like literally people say like the grocery store. It depends on what you're into too. Like, what do you like to do? That would be a good place to find someone. Do you like to like golf? Do you like to hike? Do you like to go bowling? Do you like to go to the library? Do you go to bookstores? Like, where do you hang out and find groups? A lot of people do go on Meetup and find groups of people. I've done it. I've gone to meetups many times. But I'm just a weirdo, you guys. And it's like, it's really hard for me to find people that I actually want to spend time with. Hold on. Like, I'm just like so weird. I really am. I am odd. I'm not like most people. And I know that people who say like, oh, I have people that tell me like, I don't know what they tell me. Like, I'm just, it's very hard for me to find people I want to spend time with and that like, that are on the same, that I actually have interest in talking to, that like, I don't know. I find that 99.5% of people that I run into are just normies. Like, and I can tell if people are like in the matrix and I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered. You know what I mean? On your deathbed, you won't remember how big your ring house was. You'll remember how the small things made you happy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Touch can be similar to companionship. It's not just a companion or touch you're looking for, but perhaps an intimate compliment to who you are, a part of you lost and found. How much to send a picture? Gross. How do you like block someone? Remove. Okay. The grocery store too, they're waiting for you there. So women want men to guide or lead with the planning. To me, it should be a shared. So women want men to guide or lead with the planning. To me, it should be a shared effort. But yeah, I mean, it totally depends. It depends. People want different things, right? Like we're all attracted to different qualities in people. I thought Durian Ryder gave up earlier. That no, he didn't give it up. He still eats he eats cooked food now. He does more raw till four. You know, he and Freely, when they were dating, they did the raw till four thing. So he eats like a lot of rice and probably like lentils and whatever, like cooked vegan shit, but he's still vegan. Potatoes and stuff like that. So it's like raw till four. They eat like fruit until after 4 o'clock. They have like a big cooked meal at night. The grocery store, yeah. So women want men to guide or oh, did I already read that? Yes, I did. Just stand at the base of a popular rock climbing wall. Someone will, that's a good one. Someone will fall for you eventually. Quitting alcohol is easy. Yeah, it is easy. I found it to be easy. Oh my God, there's so many comments, you guys. Holy shit. I never got to do it. I'm like going through super fast to see. Ignoring women is bad advice. Did I say to ignore women? I told him if he's being friend zoned, that he should not be giving all of his attention to that woman. That's good advice, my friend. Climbers are always lean built. Not always. I know some climbers that are heavy set, and I'm like amazed. Actually, I'm like amazed at the physics of it. I'm like, how are they scaling this wall? Because I would just like think like balance wise. I'm like, how do they do it? But they can do it. I think for a lot of people that when they were younger, if they've climbed for a long time, they were probably really like lean when they started climbing, and then your body has like that muscle memory and stuff, so then they gain weight later on. I know some like older guys who climb and they're heavier, and I'm like really amazed, but they've been climbing for so long that I think it's like their body just remembers almost. I think if it would be a lot harder to learn and get good at rock climbing if you were carrying a lot of extra weight and you had not done it before. When a girl says I think several times in a row, she's putting you in the friend zone. That's funny. JC Home Dog, you emailed me. Okay, cool. I will check my email. You have to be transparent with what you want. Find mentally what you want. Yeah. Caitlin demonstrating how the ladies reject. Yeah. That's kind of what that is sort of what I was doing. Excellent. Well done. I wish you okay. Yeah, it's YouTube, not OnlyFans. Yeah, what the you said you would check your email. I did check my email. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I always respond to my emails, so I find it very odd that I wouldn't have responded to yours. I will check again. I'm very sorry. To get out of the friend zone, just understand that she is not your equal. A woman can never be your friend. My experience is women either want to sleep with me or avoid me altogether. Yeah. This is something I do go back and forth on. I'm not really sure if I think men and women can be friends. I used to always think, yeah, because I had a ton of male friends. Like growing up, I had tons of guy friends. We were all just like a huge group of friends, you know, guys and girls. Then as I got older, then I'm kind of like, whenever I start listening to more kind of like conservative people, and it's like guys and girls can't be friends. And I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense. I get that. And I do think that oftentimes men don't have any interest in being friends with a woman. They're just like are actually attracted to her, and that's why they are maintaining the connection and the friendship. So then I believe that. Now I just don't know. I don't know. I still know some people who are friends, men and women, and they're in relationships and then they have other like male or female friends. I'll say just for some people I think it works. I don't think that would work for me. Don't think so. Quitting alcohol is difficult. I need like 3 to 4 drinks a year. That's okay. You can have as many as you want, Raj. It's totally fine, you guys. What is the theme today? The theme, it was supposed to be touch, and now it's just men and dating and relationships or something. But I am going to say more about this like men thing and more about touch. If you guys want to hear that, maybe you're just like, nah. If men were less egotistical, it would make dating easier. Most rhetoric about getting rejected is based in ego, like getting friend zone. Women are justified in being picky. Yeah, so I agree with that, actually. Sorry, women are justified in being picky. Like, hey, Jake. Jake's here, everybody. It's hard, but the library is a good place. Why do I think I'm still single? That's a great question. Are you asking me that? Probably. Why do I think I'm still single? I think I'm single because I am a weirdo, and I don't think there are a lot of I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this in a way. I don't think there are a lot of people in this world that I can truly like connect with, that like truly would get me, that could truly see me. And that has been my experience. I think, I was listening to an interview with on Call Her Daddy, which I don't listen to that podcast, but I watched it this episode because it had Megan Fox on it. And Megan Fox is amazing. And she is like very into spirituality and, whatever, personal growth and all this stuff. And she was saying, I am like very similar to her in her like personality, at least, which I didn't know until I listened to this interview. And she was saying like she doesn't have a lot of like close friends or relationships. Not a lot of people get her. Like they just don't. They don't like see her. She doesn't feel close or like connected with a lot of people. And she likes to spend time by herself. And she was saying, and she said it might have, she's like, I'm an Enneagram 4. And then she was talking about that. I've looked up, like I have read about my Enneagram, but I just don't remember. But I'm an Enneagram 4. So I was like, maybe that's why. Anyways, I'm an Enneagram 4 wing 5, if anybody cares. And then I'm in human design, I'm a 5-2 manifesting generator. So these are just nice. Enneagram 4, holla. But yeah, so I don't know. That's like why I think that I am looking for something like very, very, very rare. And I'm like not willing to settle, dude. I don't need that. I like love my life, and I have just designed my life in such a way that it's like so peaceful and so just perfect. I want a relationship, but I'm not going to settle for anything that makes me feel, it needs to amplify my life. Like it needs to add to my life, and it needs to make my life better, the relationship and the person. And it's like, if it doesn't, I'm just not interested. And I'm telling you, like, I'm just looking for a lot of depth. I'm like looking for a lot of depth that not a lot of people have, and they're not interested in, and that's okay. I'm like literally not saying that I'm better than anyone. That is not it. And I'm not saying it's bad to not want those things. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's what I want, and it's very hard to find. It is very hard to find. And it's very hard to find people who are truly, truly like not part of like the matrix, to find people who are like awake at the same level, like are not are like seeing through the illusions. I don't know how to explain it, you guys. I just like, I know these people when I meet them. It's really hard for me to explain it, but like it when you find them, and I rarely find them. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, that's why I think I'm single. Because like I'm so quick to swipe on the apps and it has nothing to do with what people like look like. I can feel like I can just tell by looking at the way people are standing in photo. Like I don't know how to explain it. Okay. I probably sound I know how this is could come off, but I can just tell. I can tell that I'm on a different wavelength than what I'm looking at on the apps. And I just I'm like, oh no, it's different. We're different. We're different. We're different. Like, so I'm just, I could go through like 1,000 people in like an hour or two. I mean, seriously, very rare to find someone that's not just a normie, like a normie NPC person. So that's that. Um, Also called a normie. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. If you're not interested in normies, it's time to spend more time around people who are also not normies. Actually, all my friends are not normies. No, I know there are a lot out there. They're just not in. It's hard to. Maybe it's not. It's not hard for you to find them, obviously. But it's hard. It's like I don't have a sign saying like, "Hi, if you're not a normie, please come and ask me out on a date." So I don't know. Like I could be around them a lot. I could be around them every day, but I don't know because don't talk to them. So I know a lot of people online that are on the same wavelength. I have met friends in person. I have female friends that are like on the same wavelength. But yeah, men, and it's not that I have obviously because I've dated people before. So I've dated people. I mean, I've dated some normies too from back when I was a normie, but like no, the last two like for real, like relationships that I had were not normie people. So, and they were wonderful and also not wonderful. Um, you eat mostly vegetarian, nice, but you eat tons of eggs. Yeah, I haven't been eating a lot of eggs lately. I have them in the fridge, but I just haven't been eating them. Oh, trapped in the matrix. I've been having a conversation with my AI program how we can substantiate us being real besides the whole Descartes thing. I think therefore I am. Yeah, I was listening to something about this um the other day or like a few weeks ago actually about like whether AI can actually like think and have consciousness and whatever. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how it's gonna play out. It's gonna be weird, but it's just part of our evolution, to be honest. I love rock climbing. I went to mountain warfare school. Oh, nice mountain warfare school. I like climbing myself. So, Caitlin, the importance of appropriate human touch. Yeah, it's very important. You have to leave. You're going to an AA meeting. Have fun. Have fun, junkie logical. I've had chick friends before and remain as good friends. I am going to talk about the importance of human touch. I want to read through these comments quick. A man can be a woman's friend without alternative intentions. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I do think it's possible. I just don't think, I don't think it's common. Um, QQQ, what's your favorite muscle or muscle compartment? Are you asking me that? What's my favorite muscle or muscle compartment? I don't know. I really like the deltoids. What's my favorite muscle or muscle compartment on myself or on other people? That's a better question. Convo goes from touch to why can I get a date? I know, like, I don't know how we ended up here, but I kind of do because it's my fault because I brought it up. I took it there, but because I kind of think that they're related. That's why it's like, or it's not that I think they're related. It's that so many of the comments on the touch video were men that were all pissed off and blaming women for why no one's getting touched. And then I was like, wait, we need to talk about how society is creating this type of bitter man. And that's how we got into this situation that we're in. Um, I think most people here should get you since we're all here with you. Like, get what you're explaining about. Yeah. I think a lot of people do. I bet not. I bet not nearly anyone though. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. You know when you're known by someone. You know when someone can see you. I can tell. I can tell. So here's the thing. Here's the thing that happens with the type of person that I am, which I don't know if it's because I'm an Enneagram 4 or if it's by human designer, what it is. But my human design coach used to tell me this though, like you will, as a 5-2, you will always, people feel very seen by you and like witnessed by you, and they are drawn to you and they open up to you and they trust you, but you struggle to ever feel that with others. Like it's very rare for you to find someone who you can do that with. And that's just like, that's my experience. And it is. And it's okay. I'm not like complaining about it. It's just the way it is. You want a normie NPC person? No. I have sometimes thought that, and then I just can't. I can't. Swiping through 1,000 people is like getting 1,000 no's. Yeah. I get it all the time. Human design chart calculator website. Oh yeah. Geneticmatrix.com for human design. You can get your free chart there. You think you're a 5 line. Nice. But really? Yeah, do it on Genetic Matrix. Hey, great to see you. Yay, ADHD Unplugged. Hello. It's hard to respond in so few words. People on another wavelength will often give off a false or don't want to be bothered by because they don't want to waste their time. They also, yeah, true. Your favorite muscle is the tibialis anterior. Wow, you really went for it there. That's like, I was gonna say pectineus, because that's a weird one. It's like do you know that? I'm sure you do know the pectineus. It's like an upper inner thigh muscle in the groin-ish area. Not really your groin, but I used to have pectineus issues. So I used to have to get it worked on and like dry needled by my physical therapist. And that shit was wild. Also, I like the deep hip rotators, the deep external hip rotators, like the gemellis. Do they call it gemellis or gemellis? And the obturator, externus. It's possible for me to be friends with a woman because after 2 years not being able to do anything, I don't even think about sex anymore. See, but we don't want that. I mean, maybe we do. I don't know. No, I think it's so healthy to like think about and want sex, right? Like, hello, that's how we continue as a species. I really like the deltoid muscles, literally my most defined muscle. I prefer the piriformis. It gets a lot. The piriformis, come on, they get so much love and attention. Unbelievable. Everybody talks about the piriformis. Yeah, okay, so let's get back to the touch thing a little bit. Well, more about what Scott Galloway was saying. So these are just some other statistics. More women, okay, I don't know if you guys are interested in this. More women are seeking tertiary education globally than men. Twice as many women have been elected to some forms of parliament in the last 30 years. More single women own a home in the US than single men. Get that? More single women own a home than the US single men. In urban centers, women under the age of 30 are making more money than men under 30. And we shouldn't be getting in the way of this. He says that's not the answer. He says 1 in 3 men under 30 who are walking on the street have not had sex in the last year. 1 in 3 men under 30 haven't had sex in a year. He said 3 out of 4 women say that economic viability is key to a mate, and only 1 in 3 men say that. So he says while the pool of men is shrinking, there's less household formation and less relationships. He says that was not that interesting of information, but he says guys come off the rails when they don't have he says women do so much better without a relationship if they like are single. He says guys come off the rails when they don't have the guidepost of a relationship. He said they get high every night. He says when they don't have it, they become more insecure, and that's when they start blaming women and blaming other people. He says single men are basically the most dangerous thing in the world. He said young, single, broke men. The most unstable places in the world have a preponderance of men without a lot of economic or romantic opportunities. 3 million millennial men have given up on dating. They're not even trying. And twice as many women under 30 are in a relationship as men under 30 because they're dating older. Twice as many women. He said, if you look at when a boy comes off the tracks, it's when he loses a male role model. This is what I was saying. More single family homes than any country. We have more single family homes than any country, except for Sweden. 92% of the single family homes are headed by the mother. He says girls in single family homes have the same levels of self-harm and academic success and performance as girls in two-parent homes, okay? So this is why what I'm saying is so important, why a male role model is so important for boys, because in the single-family homes, you have a mother. The daughters do just as well, or they self-harm, they do just as poorly or just as well as girls in two-parent households because they have the mother. However, males do not do as well as males with two-parent households. He says males are more likely to be incarcerated, less likely to go to college, and more likely to engage in self-harm. What most studies show is that while boys are physically stronger, they're mentally and emotionally much weaker than women. He says they mature later and they're more prone to violence, literally 18 months behind in their prefrontal cortex development. They're biologically less mature. This is not a judgment. And he says, without the deep voice of a virtuous man, a male role model, they come off the tracks. He also says it's that kids aren't in as many after-school programs. They're not in sports, so they don't have coaches as a male role model anymore. They're obese. They don't have a pastor because they're not going to church. And oftentimes their first male role model is a prison guard. And then he says the signs of masculinity, like these are the tenets of masculinity. You take care of yourself. You're in good shape. You have good self-care. You're economically viable. Then after you've done that, you take care of your family, your siblings, other people in your life, and people at work. Then after that, you take care of your community. You provide surplus value. Then after that, you take an interest in the well-being of a boy that's not yours, like you mentor someone. Okay, he says you have to find your tribe, whether it's sports, music, church, chess, whatever interests you have. And then he thinks a lot of it too is that men need to develop more skills and have like excellence. So he thinks we need more like vocational programming. I guess in the US, 3% of LinkedIn profiles say that these guys are apprentices, but it's 11% in the UK and Germany. So he says we need to stop shaming trade jobs because, sorry, but those dudes are attractive because they can fucking do shit. I don't want a guy who can just do shit on a computer. Anyways, and then he says start school a year later for boys. He also thinks mandatory national service. So he says Israel has less young adult depression than almost any Western country. And he says he thinks it's because they're serving the agency of something bigger than themselves. Everyone in Israel has to serve in military, even the women. He said they're outside when they're doing that. They're in great shape. They're learning how to handle weapons, how to work with machinery, and they meet that's where they'll meet partners, they'll meet friends, they'll meet co-founders of businesses, like potential mates. Then he goes on to say, testosterone is a beautiful thing. You should want to look like a monster. Any man under 30 should be able to walk into a room and know that if shit got real, they could either kill and eat everybody or outrun them. Isn't that hilarious? Kill or eat everybody or outrun them. And then he says, that's a wonderful feeling. It will make you less prone to mental illness, more attractive to mates, and less likely to be depressed. Then learn how to talk to strangers. This is what I said before. He made them develop their ability to initiate contact with strangers. Men these days don't have a place to develop excellence. They don't go to work. They don't go to church. And a lot of them don't go to college. He says we have a male homeless problem, male opiate problem. 3 out of 4 addicts are men. He said, based on the statistics, you would rather be gay or non-white than poor in our country today. That's like how disadvantageous it is to not be economically viable. It's not about identity politics. He says it's about economics. And then he says women want men who are kind, men who think about others, men who are smart and have intellect, and guys who make good decisions for the tribe. The tribe is more likely to survive, and it's the fastest way. Oh, and then he says the fastest way to communicate your intellect is through humor and the ability to signal resources. Men who are in shape, and then they want men who are in shape because it shows that they show up. It shows you have discipline, like you can commit to something and like show up every day, you know? So it's not just about like they want men who are in shape because they're in shape. It says so much more about a person. It's like if I can fucking go to the gym 5 times a week and lift weights and sprint, like so can you, bro. Try to modulate your use of porn so that you're so fucking horny, you're willing to take those risks approaching women in public. He says porn is low risk. It devalues women. You think of things in scenes and frames, and you have no desire to actually go on dates. It's like men are so afraid to fail, and it's like, sorry, you're weak sauce then. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's so lame. It's so fucking lame and unattractive. Okay. All the brightest companies, he says, all the big, brightest companies with the best technology are trying to convince young men that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen with an algorithm. He says, you don't need friends. You have Reddit and Discord. This is like what they are convincing people. You don't need friends. You have Reddit and Discord. You don't need to go through the humiliation of trying to get a job and buying a suit and showing up on time. You can just trade stocks or crypto on Coinbase or Robinhood. You don't need to go through the humiliation, the rejection, the perseverance of trying to establish a romantic relationship, of being funny, of enduring rejection, of following up. Why? Why would you do that? You have YouPorn. And he says, we have to tell men that long-term, nothing good is ever going to happen to you on a screen. Ever. Nothing good is ever going to happen to you on a screen. Long-term. Scott says he's not sure he would ever have gone on. Oh, I said this, that he wouldn't have even gone to campus if he didn't think he would run into a pretty girl. And he says now with AI girlfriends, he may have never left his dorm room. For the first time in our nation's history, a man or woman at 30 is not doing, this is crazy. For the first time in our nation's history, a man or woman at 30 is not doing as well as his parents were at 30. This creates rage and shame in the household. Men are doing worse. He says the average 70-year-old is 72% more wealthy than they were 40 years ago. Okay? Average 72-year-old, average 70-year-old, 72% more wealthy than they were 40 years ago. The average person under 40 is 20% less wealthy. And they get 210 notifications a day reminding them how poorly they're doing through like social media, telling everyone how great their lives are. Sorry. And then he talks a little bit about dating apps and dating behavior. The apps don't encourage long-term dating behavior. If you take 50 men and 50 women, this is crazy. If you take 50 men and 50 women, 46 women will want the top 4 men. That leaves 46 men fighting over 4 women. And he says, while women may be able to sleep with the top 10% of men, they won't be chosen for a relationship by those men. This is a problem too. They were talking about this. What ends up happening is that women start to falsely believe that they can get all the top men because those men will sleep with them, but those men will never date them. So that they actually a lot of women are like kind of aiming above the belt or whatever the saying is. I don't know, you guys. While women may, okay, so yeah, he says the top 10% of men get 80 to 90% of the opportunities. So it doesn't encourage men to settle down. On Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one swipe back for one coffee. And 4 of 5 will ghost him. So he actually has to swipe 1,000 times to go on a single coffee date. So he feels rejected by women. Then he becomes much more prone to misogyny because he's fucking bitter. He becomes more prone He says he just becomes a shitty citizen. By the way, he swipes 1,000 times to go on a coffee date. I swipe more than 1,000 times and I don't even get a single coffee date, you guys. It's so hard to find someone worth a coffee date these days. I'm not kidding. Men are 4 times as likely to kill themselves. After divorce, they're 8 times as likely. He might lose his kids. 1 of 3 men have no contact with their children after 6 years post-divorce. That's insane. He says we need to build nuclear infrastructure, like nuclear power plants and shit, to create jobs for young men. We need to feed the middle class. The part that's failing the middle class right now is young men. We need national service. We need more job programs, more apprenticeships. And then few more stats. I'm almost done, you guys. 40 years ago, 60% of 34-year-olds had a kid. Okay, 40 years ago, 60% of 34-year-olds had a kid. Now it's 27%, less than half of that. Average age, like I don't have a kid, I'm 38. Average age of a home buyer is 54. Average age of a home buyer is 54, you guys. 40 years ago, it was 36. They're not having kids or buying a home not because they don't want to, because they can't afford to. And women are not attracted to a man who can't give them a home and a kid, and he can't afford it. And then he just says, helping young men empathy is not a zero-sum game. Helping young men is not going to negatively affect anyone else, especially women. He says, like, you know who wants economically viable men more than anyone? Women. And he says mothers are actually the ones leading the charge around this. He gets contacted by women all the time. He says the most common example that he can give that he hears is a mother saying, I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and 1 son. 1 daughter is in Chicago in PR. The other's in grad school at Penn State. And my son is in the basement vaping and playing video games. That's it. And vaping. That's another thing. You guys stop vaping. Stop sucking on a vape like a fucking pacifier. It's so bad for you too. Anyways, by the way, it's so much worse than cigarette. Go smoke a fucking natural tobacco cigarette and like get with the program. Okay, so what else? Now that I just went on my rant. Yeah, totally, Aid. I agree. They took away the old elephant males and the young males got crazy. Yeah. Soy and all the food doesn't help, just saying. I think women could help the problem by not shutting them down so quickly, like maybe talk for a bit at least over the I don't know about that. And I don't think Scott Galloway would say the same thing either. Men need to stop being so soft. Like, you got to be okay with being rejected. I mean, yeah, people shouldn't be rude or mean. If people are being nasty, like, that's one thing. But like, you gotta just deal with it. You gotta build your own confidence and self-esteem and not need people to like baby you and not hurt your feelings. It's like, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I don't know. Yes, and you're going forward. People confine in me and feel heard and understood, find it hard to be reciprocated. Okay, so yeah, see, that's the way it is. It's funny because a lot of people, like, that's what I get a lot is a lot of people think that they get me and like that we're the same or whatever, but I can feel like I'm like, no, I don't like, no, it's not there. I give people that feeling and then they feel like we have this connection, but I don't feel it for myself. I can give it to other people. So yeah, looking forward to more of your lives. Love. Thank you, Barbie 333. Then it's just a game. 4 important things in life. Yes. Freedom and integrity. Yep. Yeah, I guess there's a thing as a kind letdown. There is. No, not I guess. There is. Remember when they tried to tell us toxic masculinity? Yeah. Toxic masculinity is the most retarded shit ever. I've never used that term, and I never will. I think I'm the only like on this live. You guys, there's only 1 like on this live. It says 38 thumbs up there, but my screen says 1. I mean, Raj, maybe you need to refresh your page. I don't know. I think traditional reflect yay, hearts. Personality types better reflect a person's potential and contribution to society. Okay, what do you mean by that? You don't think traditional ideals for men reflect human nature. Personality types better reflect what personality types? Are you talking about Myers-Briggs? I was door-to-door salesman for 10 years and volunteer at a soup kitchen. Lots of experience with people, perhaps my greatest. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, door-to-door sales is good. I did that for a brief period. But working as a cashier, I worked as a cashier forever. You learn how to talk to people. Yeah, OnlyFans is also one of the worst things for our society. I agree with you. Porn and OnlyFans. We're fucked, you guys. Raj, I didn't even think about that. Nothing good is ever going to happen to you on a screen during a YouTube live. Whatever. He said it on a screen too. Scott Galloway was saying that on a podcast, which is on a screen. Yeah, Aid just did 30 days without screens or blue light. You guys, isn't that wild? Yeah, those stats hit hard. I know, don't they? They hit me hard. That's why I was like, holy shit. I was listening to this podcast and I'm like typing, just taking notes the entire time, writing. It was 2 pages of notes that I just read, you guys. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, there's a lot here. Like, it was shocking to me. Like, it's really sad. It's very sad. Don't use dating apps, date a friend, meet up in real life, but don't have hard feelings if you get rejected, but make a friend. And if you think there's something there, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I do like the low pressure of things not starting out as like needing to be a date type of a situation. Nuclear infrastructure. Yeah, I don't know enough about that to comment. I was just reading what he said. It's a problem with society if men can't afford it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like this is a societal issue. It is. And I don't know what the answer is. I think that it's more getting back to like smaller communities, but also I don't know. I just don't know. It's like capitalism is like fucking with things because we have like these kind of monopolies and like companies that are just accumulating all of the money, all the resources, and then they're like kind of pushing out anyone else's like ability to be. What he talked about was that it was actually a very rare thing, the middle class that we have had like over the past whatever 100 and however many years, that is like 100 years, that didn't exist, and it has not thank you, Jake, I love you. That has not existed for it has never existed in other societies. In other, like, they never had. How can I like that? I'm trying to like it. Whoops. I liked it. Okay. The middle class has never existed in other culture, in other societies. He talks about it was this rare thing that happened when men came back from the war, and then I don't remember the details, but something like that. And it's basically being eliminated now again, and that's a scary thing. And we need to do what we can to try to maintain a thriving middle class. It's apparently like not an easy thing to do and not natural, which kind of does make sense, you guys. I don't think it's natural for everybody to be like simpatico and like the whole like just like communism, everyone's equal type of shit. Like I just think that people like power is like enticing and appealing to people, and the more power you get, the more that you want. And I think people are naturally drawn to like wanting to, I don't know, wanting to like accumulate more resources and more power and more influence, and they won't self-govern. They will not like put a governor on themselves for that naturally. Like, do you know what I mean? So then that naturally is going to create a bunch of people that don't have a lot. I don't know. I haven't thought through that thesis a ton, but I think that's how I feel. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Um, I really don't. You smoke cigs. Yeah, cigs are fine. I honestly, you guys, I'm not anti-cig. I mean, I wouldn't probably do like American Spirits though. I'm all about it. Natural, like organic tobacco. Or I used to like roll my own when I would travel to other countries. I would just buy rolling tobacco. I can't get addicted to nicotine. I can try it. I can't do it. Um, like I can just smoke a cigarette whenever. I can smoke a cigarette every day and I won't get addicted. Like I will never want more than one, or I might not even want one. Like I don't have that. I don't know. It doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's weird because I naturally will like tend to overdo things and want like more is better. But with cigarettes, I don't know. It just doesn't happen for me. But I do like the experience of one. Um, the average guy is so starved for American spirits are good at a barbecue. Smoke a tobacco. I've never smoked a pipe before. Um, the average guy is so starved for positive attention that a simple compliment is enough to make him think you're in. I know. Well, and that's part of it too. That's like part of it too, is that you start the less that you have it, then the more that you'll like misinterpret signals. And you'll behave in a way that is more awkward and uncomfortable for other people because you like act from a desperate place oftentimes. I don't think it's all the time, but I think it's sometimes. Um, I think we need a reset, and buying real estate as an investment should be illegal. Yeah, you guys, you know what, Ben? I haven't spoken this out loud, but I have had thoughts like that because it's literally like what's the word that I can't think of? Boxing people. It's not boxing people out. It's something people edging people out. Like it's making it so that people who want to buy a home for their family like can't or whatever. Because you have all these like real estate people own all the real estate as investment properties, and then we're just paying and making these people wealthier. It's like, why can't everybody just own their own home, and like just why do you have to own a bajillion homes? I roll my own or smoke Pall Malls. That's what my dad used to smoke, Pall Malls. You're on the right track. People without resources want resources. People with resources desire. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Thank you, Lone Patriot. That's kind of what I think it's natural. Um, yeah. Okay. Now, this article was shared to me by someone on YouTube as well, one of my subscribers. And it's an article that was written by this PhD neurophysicist, or not neurophysicist, you guys, but it's not a he's a neuro something. James Prescott. The fuck is he? James Prescott. I don't know what he is. God damn it. PhD. I know he has a PhD. Okay, he's a developmental psychologist. I thought someone called him a neuro something. He's not just, but he's a developmental psychologist. Okay. He did studies on rhesus monkeys. You guys, back like a long time ago in like the 70s. So I want to say all this for any of the people who argue that we don't need touch and like maybe argue that it's not as important as whatever people say it is. So he cited a couple of studies, Mason 1968, 1975. Okay, on the effects of a moving mother surrogate and preventing the wide variety of psychopathologies reported in maternal infant separation studies. Wide variety of psychopathologies reported in maternal infant separation studies. So people say like, "Oh, I just don't like being touched. It's normal. I just don't like it." No, it's not normal. What happened to you? What happened to you as an infant? Like, how was your mother? Like, what was she going through in utero? How was she with you when you were an infant? Like, I just have so many questions. It's like it's not normal. Now, I do think we have people now. We have so many like neurodivergent stuff and like autism, whatever. So people have these like sensory disorders, but that's a disorder, so it's not normal. But yeah, we do obviously have to like those people. I'm not saying they need to like push through and just force themselves to be comfortable with some shit they're not comfortable with. Lone Patriot, unbelievable. Thank you so much to help Caitlin remember. It worked. Thank you. That's so sweet. I'm so flattered. I'm so grateful. That's so nice. Okay, so you guys, study of emotion in 1968 and 1975 opened a new field of sensory brain mechanisms and explaining the psychopathologies of maternal infant separation and the critical role that the vestibular cerebella in your brain mechanisms have in regulating emotional, social, and sexual behavior, and for the development of the neurointegrative brain and the essential condition for normal brain and behavioral development. Did any of that make sense? I lost myself when I just read that. It made sense when I took the notes. Oh, also, there's a film he says he recommended called Rockabye Baby, and I think it's about these monkeys. Yeah, he says they took these monkeys who were like super aggressive and violent, and they were able to like through touch and like nurturing with a mother, I think they were able to like turn them into these like super whatever affectionate sweet monkeys that like held other monkeys and whatever. Anyways, Rockabye Baby. Okay, he talks about there's a book called Childcare and the Growth of Love. He says the quality of the parental care that a child receives in its earliest years is of vital importance for its future mental health. The quality of the parental care, vital importance for future mental health. Deprived children in the home or outside the home are the source of social infection. That's what he says. Deprived children. Children deprived of touch are the source of social infection. This was written in 1951 in a book, you guys. Okay. Then he says there's a chapter on identifying specific neural structures and a biological predisposition to violent and aggressive behavior. Early lack of sensory social experience. The magnitude of violence and self-destructive behavior indicates in our society that the magnitude of violence and self-destructive behavior indicates that we have insufficient social support around early development. And this was said and written in 1968. It's only gotten a bajillion times worse. Okay, then he talks about, he says, what is ethical and moral behavior? What is moral education? The diversity of moral and ethical behavior is as diverse as human societies, because obviously, is this still on? Yeah. Different things are considered moral in different societies. There's an article in 1974 on the effect of cerebellar lesions in the brain on the cerebellum, on emotional behavior in the rhesus monkeys by Berman's Prescott on the cerebellum, epilepsy, and behavior. You guys, so I voice to text my notes, so sometimes it don't make sense. Okay, it documented that particular decortication, which has something to, neocerebellar decortication, he called it, which is like somehow something about the cortex that is happening. I don't know. Could eliminate all the pathological violence in an adult mother deprived monkey. So a monkey deprived of an adult mother, and replace it with inquisitive exploratory behavior like hugging, touching, hand feeding. So basically that you could go into you could surgically you could surgically do an operation, a procedure on some part of the cerebellum, and you could eliminate pathological violence in a child that was deprived of a mother and turn them into an exploratory, like hugging, touching, hand feeding person. So that's what I'm saying is like a lot of these people that so much of the violence and aggression that we're seeing, like I believe it's like something's wrong in your brain and it was caused by early developmental, whatever word you want to use, trauma or like some shit that happened to you. Okay. Like something happened to create that. It's not normal behavior and it's not normal to be so like ace, asocial. Is that a word? Um, and then he says, listen to these stats. 1975, he wrote this essay, Body Pleasure and the Origins of Human Violence. That's what the essay is called, Body Pleasure and the Origins of Human Violence. What monkeys can tell us about human violence. Cross-cultural studies of 49, this is humans, cross-cultural studies of 49 tribal cultures documented that the peaceful or violent nature of 73% of cultures studied could be predicted from the single measure of baby carrying through the first year of life. Did you guys hear that? I want to repeat it, but maybe you don't need me to. 49 tribal cultures documented that the peaceful or violent nature of 73% of cultures studied could be predicted from the single measure of baby carrying through the first year of life. The measure of violence, the way they measured what violence was killing, torturing, and mutilating the enemy captured in these societies. The greatest threat to world peace comes from those nations which are the most depriving environments to the children, and are most repressive of sexual affection and female sexuality. Hello, that's our culture. 1979, a book about child abuse and violence. Oh, okay, and then the bonobo monkeys, which one of my subs also shared with me. And then I read more about the bonobos. They substitute sexual behavior for aggression. They have like almost zero, they exhibit almost no violence or aggression, and they fuck each other like crazy. And they look for just all fucking everybody. They're just like that. They're female-centered egalitarian primate species. And violence is very common among chimpanzees. Bonobos nurse for 4 years and are carried around for even longer. Their mothers take them everywhere that she goes. And we share 98% of our DNA with bonobos. This is some interesting shit. In a book by the Dalai Lama in, I think, 1999, I think this was in his book, the weaning age. He believes that the weaning age, the age that children wean from the breast, must be documented in the immunological record of each child and published by the Infant and Child Mortality Statistics, because it is suspected to be correlated with violent and aggressive behavior with children who have less skin-to-skin contact with their mother. Listen to this. 77% of cultures where the weaning age was found to be between 2 and 2.5 years or greater, so they breastfed for longer, had lower or absent suicide rates. 77% of cultures. Now listen to this. In tribal cultures where the weaning age is 12 months or less, only less than 10% of tribal cultures wean for less than 12 months. Compared to 93.2% of American mothers wean at less than 12 months. We don't have enough skin-to-skin contact. We are using bottles, babies. Like, people don't understand how important this is. Like, oh my God, we need to be touching skin. Like, a baby cannot be just sucking on plastic. Oh my goodness, I can't. I get so worked up. Okay, listen to this. 86% of the low suicide cultures have a weaning age of 30 months or greater. 66% of high suicide cultures have a weaning age of 30 months or greater. 86 versus 66. Breastfeeding is a necessary but insufficient condition for the prevention of suicide. So it's not sufficient as the only condition met, but it is necessary. Okay, he says 9 out of 10 states, US states, 9 out of 10 states with less than 15% of children breastfeeding at 12 months have the highest rate of infant mortality. Then 83% with greater than 83% of states with greater than 25% of children breastfeeding after 12 months have the lowest infant mortality rates. Okay. This information, by the way, this James Prescott guy requested from the CDC. So that is that. Then this is actually one of the craziest. I even wanted to show you guys this, but I can't because it's on my phone. So he talks about how actual movement is more important than like an actual mother being alive. So they took these monkeys. I think it was the rhesus monkeys. They put these monkeys in like a cage with a surrogate mother that was moving on like a swing, but it wasn't just consistent moving one way. It was like she would do different movements, like as if it was a mother carrying the baby. That infant, those babies were able to, like, once they then were put with other monkeys, other like baby monkeys or whatever, they were able to play and they wanted to interact and hug and hold. They were able to like socialize. Whereas when they just had put a thing that looked like a monkey mother, but it was stationary and it didn't move, and the baby had to try to interact with whatever, when those monkeys were put into a cage with other monkeys, they got so violent, they were aggressive, they didn't want to pay attention to each other at all, and then they would start to like get curious. But if one would touch the other, they would fucking go mental and just attack each other like wild animals. I can like try to share the video with you guys like in the description of this video, but it's like, it's a long video and it's only the end section, so you'll have to just go to the end and watch it. But it's like crazy. And he talks so much about, he actually says the primary sensory input during fetal development, the primary sensory input is movement. Think about it. We're in our mother's belly and we're like in all the amniotic like fluid, and she's like moving around. It's the motion. And that's why you have people with sensory issues like autistic people and people with Asperger's, and people that have these different like tics, and they have to move and they rock or they like do whatever. Their movement is soothing. It's the primary sensory input for during fetal development, and it signals and trains trust in the baby, because that's what the baby evolved and like the baby was created in was like an environment of movement. That's why we have like rocking chairs, like rock my baby, whatever. That's like what it is. But it's so important. So yeah, you can imagine it's like the babies we're not being held as long, we're not being breastfed as long, then we're not being hugged, we're not being held, we're not being touched. Like, oh, it's like, and I don't know what the answer is, like, because to me, the only answer is like you have to start to initiate that in your own life and with your own children, if you have children, and with your own friends. And when you notice yourself, if it is uncomfortable and you notice like your body reacting or you pulling away, like trying to soften to that, or learning how to communicate how you're feeling and that you're not comfortable, and like learning to, I don't know. I wish I knew what the answer was. I don't know what the answer, but it's like crazy. It's really crazy, right? To like hear all of this. It's so sad. And the other thing I want to say, you guys, I'm like not a person. I have no authority to speak on this, what I'm about to speak on. I don't have a significant other. I don't have a husband. I've never been married. But I think that a lot of what women are experiencing is just kind of what we were talking about before, is like, but women, they want to feel, I think a lot of the reason why they're not wanting to touch or interact with husbands, or they start to become whatever, is that it's a lot of other stuff building up and resentments. Like the husband isn't like following through on stuff. He's not carrying his weight. He's not contributing a certain way. Maybe he's like lazy. Maybe he's not contributing. He's not doing the things that like make a man attractive. Trust me, if you're doing the things that make a man attractive, your woman is going to want to have sex with you. That's what I believe, at least. Of course, there are other factors, because a lot of times it could be her hormones. Seriously, it could be she's super stressed. She is working too much. If you have kids, like, yes, there are a bajillion other things that could be going on. I'm just saying, if all that stuff is not it, and you just feel like she just rejects you, it's like, you got to ask her why. Ask her what's going on. Start to try to, and stop being so focused on what you want and what you can get and what you can give her. And like, women want to be, we need to be like opened up. Like we're not going to want to just touch you and go have sex. Right? It's like, it needs to be like it's such a process. And we don't want to always feel like sex is the end goal. Like you're only touching us and because you're trying to get to some end goal. Like that's all we're good for, because women love affection too. We want just like affection that isn't, we want to just be shown affection just because you love us, and not because you want to get sex. Because then we're always going to think every time he comes to try to touch me, it's because he wants sex. You don't want to train your woman that way, to think that way, or that then she is going to start to avoid you and not want to interact, like, because she doesn't want to feel like fucking used all the time, and like that's all she's good for, and that makes sense. So like, show her affection just because you want to be near her sometimes, and don't try to have sex all the time. But then when you do and it goes there, like, then it's not like, yeah, I mean, just, you know what I mean? Like, it seems so like common sense to me, but I don't know. All right, you guys, we have been doing this for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm going to look at comments. And then we're probably going to wrap it up a little bit. Get out of debt, invest in real estate and gold. It might seem hard or impossible. Yeah. Aid is like the life coach in the group. But yeah. Oh, the other thing that was so interesting is, get this. You guys, research says that we touch very little in America, only twice a day, humans in America. And that includes sex, twice a day. In the Philippines, the average is 181 times a day. And I read more stats on this, dude. And like French people, Italian people, they'll like have it in a social interaction, like if they're out to like coffee or doing something or whatever, they'll touch like multiple times, like 100 times in like while they're sitting there with each other. And like Americans will touch each other, I think once or twice or whatever. It's like, it's so crazy. Yeah, 185 times per hour for Puerto Ricans. Well, the French average 110 times per hour. What the fuck? And in the US and the UK, average is 2 touches per hour for Americans, and British, none at all. Insanity. Good night, Brandon. Thank you so much for being here. I know skin hunger is real. I'm really glad that you came. Yeah, I know. It's really flippin' sad, you guys. And animals, yeah, like animals are great. Ben, do I think it's enough? I don't know that it's enough. I think it's like sufficient to get a certain aspect of it met, but like I just think that we need human connection in general, because we need relationships and just being in relationship, and that emotional connection. Like I don't, but as far as like the touch aspect, yeah, you can, and the nervous system regulation and co-regulation, like you can get it from an animal 100%. My wife wants to live in our apartment from the movie 1984. I don't think that's a good thing. I'd probably want to do some ranching. Okay, you guys are talking about ranching. Of course you are. Aid. Of course, when Aid's in the conversation, we're talking about cattle ranching. Oh my gosh. I want you to write a list of stuff for my book. You've got some good ideas. What is your book, Baron? Send me an email. info@makelifemedicine.com. Heavens and earth, you're going to smoke your pipe. Enjoy. Have a lovely evening. A lot of women are broken. Hormones, birth control. I know it's bad. It's really, but God, that's like a whole other thing. We could talk about so many things, you guys. I hope that this conversation was funsies. I think the lack of touch may be correlated to warlike nature. Yeah, I could, based on the countries and yeah, I could see that. Gotta run. Yeah, you guys. I don't know what time it is where you guys are. It's 6:45 where I am. 6:45 p.m. And probably I feel like either my phone or my computer or my microphone are gonna die. But anyways, you guys, thank you so much. I hope that this was fun. It was super fun for me. I can't believe I just yapped for that long. Actually, I can believe it. And we're just gonna have to do this again sometime. You guys can let me know. No, I'm not a West Coast. Well, I'm Arizona, so I'm on Pacific time now. But when the time change happens, since we don't change, then I'll be Mountain Standard Time. So half the year I'm Mountain Time, half the year I'm Pacific Time. Midday on the 20th here. Wish you all good health. Yes, you guys. Enjoy your evening, your day, your morning, whatever. Thank you so much. And yeah, let me know. Email me or comment somewhere. Let me know what we should talk about next. I have a few videos filmed and I got to edit and then they'll be coming out. And my one YouTube, or I did a video on my whole alcohol, how that happened and how I stopped drinking and that whole thing. Cause like that was a chapter of life. And that's going to be now. That'll be a link in my video descriptions. So you guys can look for that. I don't know. I have a lot of editing to do. Anyways, I'm done yapping. I love you guys so much. And thank you for spending your evening with me. All right. See you guys on the YouTubes. How do I stop this? I'm going to close it. Okay, bye.